Okay, gonna do some kettlebell conditioning, Jeff Newport inspired. So it's gonna be 10 sets of 10, clean and press, which should be a nice accompaniment to what I'm doing in the gym, because Bromley's program has a dedicated overhead press day, but I really suck at bench press, so I am swapping the overhead press day for a second bench day. So, yeah, I have done 3 very hard kettlebell sessions this week, despite my better judgments. Monday, I did 2. So I had the squat session in the evening, but in the morning, I did the kettlebell ladder. I did, no, I recorded that one. It was the swings, it was the 200 snatches in 10 minutes and then 120 double swings. And then I did, on Wednesday, I did the ladder, the double snatch ladder into double jerk, 105 snatches, but then I ended up doing 120 jerks in 9 minutes because I just ran through. I really wish I had recorded that one because I hit, and that was a rep PR for me. It was a straight 20-minute set. There was no break in between. And I hit 225 reps in 19 minutes. 19 and a half. So I'm disappointed. I should have recorded that one. That was hard. It kind of beat the shit out of me. But anyway, Friday, or was it yesterday? No, yeah, it was yesterday. I did 220, was it 200? It was like 225 or 230 snatches in 10 minutes. I just set the timer and did a 10-minute set with a 20 kilo. So, high volume snatches with the high volume deadlifting and shit, I'm not feeling that great. So I'm trying Jeff Newport's thing. It's gonna be clean and press. I'm starting with double 18s. So that is 40 pounds, it's 80 pounds in total. So it's 10 sets of 10. There's no timer. You just kind of do it as you feel it. So let's see how long it takes. I have warmed up. Honestly, this is my preferred way to overhead press anyway. The kettlebells are very comfortable for it. Whereas a barbell, it's all right. It's kind of awkward after doing kettlebells for so long because of the weight distribution. Kettlebells, the weight's out here. Barbell, the weight's in front of you. It just feels weird. That's why I like push press with a barbell. I really like the push press with barbell. I almost exclusively do push press. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie and say that that wasn't, like clean and press is a decent movement. This is probably something I would do once a week, probably after the bench day. So Wednesday, like right in the middle. And then, I don't know. I think the single kettlebell snatch will be kept in. I will just not go as intense. So I'll go longer, but not as intense. So that should ease off on the back a little bit. All right, anyway, that's one set. Like I said, there's no time limit. You just kind of do it as you feel it. So I'm gonna train this like, gym lifts. 2 sets. I do feel something like this would be a nice accompaniment because you're getting a bit of hinge work, but it's not as explosive as those swings. And as the deadlift gets heavier and the back squats, I'm thinking it's too much based on how my low back feels right now. Might be too much hinge pattern, too much hinging. But I mean, that is what it is. After my performance the other day with the deadlift, that next week is going to be 305 for 4 sets of 6, and that last one being an AMRAP. My squat tomorrow is going to be 225 for 6 plus an AMRAP. So hopefully the low back's not bothering me too much by then. But I will be doing that tomorrow, roughly in the AM instead of in the evening. So that day also has a deadlift. It has Romanian deadlifts. The way I do those, I put a 3-inch plate under my feet and do it that way, because otherwise the thing just hits the ground, and you're supposed to keep the weight above, but like I just don't, because my arms are long. So that's why I'm able to deadlift. I have good deadlift form. Squat, not so much. Squat's super awkward. I gotta end up out like here, and it's just kind of like, if I want to do a high bar, like, and I feel like that one's more comfortable. So I do prefer that. I just have to go wide when I do it. Whereas if I use low back and really sink it, I can kind of go like this. But I'm liking the way it feels in the quads more and less strain on the back. So that's why I'm sticking with that. If I have to lower the percentage on the weight to compensate for the change in technique, I'll do that. I don't really care that much. I'm focused on getting the deadlift and the bench up, and the squat I'm kind of doing as secondary, or secondary to the deadlift. I'm not trying to grow each lift equally. I focused on the squat in the past when I started lifting. Within like a couple months I got to 315 with a low bar. So I really want my deadlift up. By next year at this time, I would like to be pulling in the 600s. That would be fucking sweet. All right, third set. Not liking how that right shoulder's feeling. That front delt's feeling a little weird. Feeling a little creaky. I did halos. I did 20 halos. And I did a single bell clean and press ladder, 1 through 5 for each arm, but I guess I have hammered the upper body this week with the more extreme kettlebell lifts. And like, I thought I could sustain the heavy duty barbell training with high volume and the kettlebell stuff at really high volume. And I'm doing better than I was when the last time I tried it. But like, it's a lot of hard shit. My fitness has improved. I'm doing stuff with the kettlebells that I couldn't do a couple years ago. So, let alone coupled with fairly intense barbell training. So that's nice. I'm probably the most muscular I've ever been. And combined with the the leanest. I know I'm not like super lean or anything, obviously, but like relatively, I'm the strongest I've ever been while also being the leanest in that bulk state. I'm 220 pounds right now. So yeah. If my shoulder feels like that on this next set, I may stop at 5. And I think that'll be enough because, like I said, I've had the weight training this week. I've had 3 brutal kettlebell sessions. Today's Sunday. I should just not do anything. I've really kind of changed. I don't like rest days anymore. Like that switch got flipped and now all I want to do is train. So this one is going to be fairly simple. So 4th set here, and then this is going to dictate if I do the 10 sets or not. Fourth set. Okay, so it did not feel painful there. I still might stop at 5. Goals with the weight training. We're in the last week of July. That gives me 4 months. By the end of the year, my goal is to comfortably rep 315 on squat. At least max bench 265. And I really think if I focus well and stop doing a bunch of extra shit that's gonna beat me up, I really think that I can get to a 500-ish pound deadlift. Let me see. I think I can get to a 5-plate deadlift, so 495. I think I can pull that off by the end of the year. Because like the weight's just going up. Like the further, like when I did the 280 for sets of 6, obviously on that last set I got 14 reps. So like the work capacity is there, the strength is clearly there. I really think I can get to 495 by the end of the year, which would be pretty sweet because the most I've pulled has been 375, or was it 4? I can't remember if it was 375 or no. I failed the 405. I pulled the 375. I squatted the 315. So I want to be able to rep 315 on squat, bench, max bench. So I need just 1 rep, 265. That's my worst lift, and then I want to be able to do 5 plates on a deadlift. So 495 for the 4 sets of 6. And I really think I can get there. As far as weight and physique goals, I'm 220 right now. And I feel like if I really focus on the strength training, I could probably get to a relatively lean 240. That's what I'm thinking. Like I said, I'm not the leanest now. I'm not intentionally bulking or anything. I'm just kind of eating when I'm hungry. And I'm eating a whole foods diet. Occasionally I'll have a protein shake. I don't really like protein shakes though. So I'm not too much on that. As the weight training gets heavier, the intensity of the kettlebell sessions is going to come down. So it's probably going to be like these clean and press sessions, either with unlimited rest in between for recovery, or I'll put it on a timer and then lower the reps per minute. So like 4 reps a minute. I feel like this is a good supplement as the weight training, like I said, gets heavier, because I'm still hinging a bit with the clean, but it's not a super intense clean, it's not like super forceful. It's still there, so it's helping getting the blood flow to those muscles. And then I'm getting the overhead work that's going to help, you know, keep the shoulders and the upper back good. Although I train the absolute fuck out of my back because I can. Really good at pulling movements. But then this is going to help me focus more on bench press to get to that 265 max instead of having a push press day or overhead press day. I've gotten to a body weight overhead press before, running a Bulgarian light style thing like Eric Bugenhagen used to talk about back in the day. It was like 165 pounds because I had just kind of wrapped up the boxing thing. So I was like maybe 165 pounds. That is a lift, like I've said before, that goes up pretty easily for me. All right, 5th set here. The other thing I have to consider is that this program I'm doing is not low volume. Like, it's not a low volume program. You are using, because I have the 3rd week coming up. So it's 4 3-week cycles, right? So the first week is 65% of your max. Bromley suggested lowballing yourself a little bit on the lifts if you're not used to doing a lot of gym volume, which I wasn't. I hadn't really lifted in a year outside of one full body session I did 3 weeks ago that kind of kicked all this off. So I lowballed myself a little bit. I feel like I guessed really well. I went 350 for deadlift, and I've recorded some of my deadlifts, so you've seen the progress I've made with that, being able to rip it off the floor and everything. The squat has gone up nicely. Like on deadlift day, I had to do the squats first because the week before I just couldn't squat after I did that AMRAP deadlift set, so I ended up doing leg press. Well, this week I started with the squat, and it was 4 sets of 12 with 185 pounds. Now, I know for a lot of people, well, gym people, that's not a lot of weight. But when you're not used to doing, when you haven't really done back squats for any real amount of volume with, you know, moderately heavy weight, you do 4 sets of 12, especially switching to high bar from low bar, you're going to feel it. So that was good. And then I did the deadlifts. So yeah, it's really high volume. It's a lot of banger movements. There's a good amount of assistance work that I'm actually doing because the main work doesn't leave me completely exhausted like my old programming used to do. So my point is that when I just do kettlebells, it's a lot more volume, but the loading is a lot lighter. What I'm forgetting is that, like, I go to the gym, I do my thing, and I'm like, that was good, but it wasn't as much volume as like kettlebells. But the load is way higher. And I have not accounted for that yet. That's why my lower back hurts at the moment. I'm really not accounting for the difference in load. So like, my gym sessions take more of a toll on my body than my kettlebell sessions, because every session is essentially a full body session. He puts the back work, the pulling work on your lower body day. So basically every day is full body. You're working your body, your whole body. You're emphasizing certain parts, like on the upper body day, you're obviously emphasizing upper body, but you do get a bit of leg work in. So yeah, it's really high volume. This is high volume, but the loads are light. Aside from when I do double 24s, if I do a good amount of work, like the double 24 kilo clean and jerk half-hour sessions, that's a pretty good one. And obviously, not deadlifting in a year. When I went to the gym 3 weeks ago, I pulled 340 or 335 for a really easy two reps, and then I worked up to 365. So yeah, the double 24s, like those movements, the clean and press, your clean and jerk, that's a good one. So yeah, I'm gonna run this program for the rest of the year. I want to see if I can hit my goals with it, and then I'm gonna take a break and then go back to some kettlebelling. I want to see how much strength I can maintain. So what I'll probably do is I'll finish out this year, hit my strength goals. Starting in January, it'll be back to the kettlebells. I'm going to focus on literally just the clean and jerk with 24s and 28s. I'll have 28s by then. I will go to the gym probably twice a week just to squat and deadlift. Maybe not even squat, maybe just deadlift. And do some like back work, because I really like ripping weight off the floor. I like bent over rows. I like T-bar rows. I just like pulling weight. I don't know, I find that fun. But I kind of want to see what I can do with just focusing on clean and jerk. But right now is the strength arc. I'm not worried about my body weight. I'm not intentionally trying to gain weight. I'm not intentionally trying to lose weight. Just kind of going with it. I'm eating when I'm hungry, and I'm eating all natural foods. See where I end up. I am slanted toward vegan. That is mainly because dairy fucks with me, eggs fuck with me. Chicken is terrible for you because the amount of estrogen that's pumped into it. Like most meat has so much problems with it, it's just gross. But I still like pizza once in a while. That's my cheat meal. So I'm not like a dedicated vegan, but I do feel better when I eat a plant-based diet. I'm gonna do one more round because like that shoulder's feeling good. I'm taking the time here. This has been a nice session. I'm getting the work in, but I'm not beating myself into the dirt. I kind of like this. This is like my 8th training session of the week. 8, 9. Yeah, it's like my 8th training session of the week, so taking it nice and easy, but still getting, you know, decent accumulative work. Like that's 120 reps, you know, 60 presses, 60 cleans. How long have I been yakking? 23, 24 minutes. So, you know, 6 rounds. Could I have done it faster? Yeah. Would it have been more effective? Probably not. Probably not, no. The other thing I need to try, I kind of want to try just doing steady state cardio because it's drastically different than, you know, hard, heavy, high volume barbell training and kettlebell training. I don't know though, because my thought process is they're two separate goals. They're completely different. They're probably not going to help feed into each other. You know, powerlifting training does not feed into jogging or running or even walking. And I feel like the higher intensity stuff helps complement, because you're keeping your body in the same system. So like with the kettlebell sessions, I'm using the same energy system, the anaerobic system, but I'm training it more intensely. So I'm not focused on the weight as much because, you know, the kettlebell weights are pretty light. But it's more explosive, extended periods of time. So I feel like that's going to help feed into the weightlifting. Because when I go to the gym, I'm going to be able to be like, heavy weight, rip weight off the floor. Or put weight on back, squat down, and explode up. Or explode weight off the chest. Whereas if I just do regular cardio, I don't think it's going to have any carry over benefit at all. And like unless I'm doing like all out sprinting, the problem with all out sprinting is that I'm 220 pounds and I've injured my feet before running. So sprinting and I like sprinting, I really do. We don't get along that well. I guess if I was to set an incline on the treadmill or go outside and use one of the many hills, that could work because it's less, so it's more cardio work, it's more anaerobic work, but it's less impact going uphill, if that makes sense. It should make sense because it's an incline, so you know what I mean? Your feet don't hit the same way. I can't explain it good now, but you know what I mean. It's less impactful to do incline hill work. So I can throw that in too. A lot of the people that talk about doing that though are fairly light. Like I said, I'm 220-ish right now. So it's probably not gonna work out that well for me. 7th. I'm going to split the difference. I do 15, so that'll cap me off at 75. That's a pretty good number. The thing I like most about, or the thing I miss most about kettlebells all the time, is that aside from the deadlift, the barbell training really doesn't work the core anywhere near as much. Whereas the kettlebell, you're using your core to basically stabilize through everything. So that's another reason that I haven't cut out kettlebell training entirely to focus on barbells, and I probably won't, because I really do feel like if you can nail down the intensity, I feel like it's going to be a really good assistance to any type of hard barbell training. I really do. I feel like it's going to accompany it pretty well, because you can focus on the unilateral work, which hits your core even more, even if you're just like, especially if you're doing snatch, but even if you're just doing clean and press, that's going to get the core going. Double clean and press is going to get the core going. You're going to work your shoulders in a range of motion that isn't unnatural and causes a bunch of clicking and crunching. So yeah, like I can't cut the kettlebells out is what I'm saying. There's too many benefits to doing them. Yeah, they're not the best for any one methodology, but I stand by my claim that for overall well-rounded fitness, you can't beat kettlebell training. You just can't beat it. It's good strength training. It's good anaerobic conditioning. It's good aerobic conditioning. Everything. You get everything that you need for everyday functional fitness with kettlebell training. You're just not going to excel at any one thing without branching out. So like my goal to get really strong, I want to look jacked as fuck. I want to look like Buck Tow Truck, right? Like that. That's kind of the goal. If I have a physique goal, that's it. Right now, I'm obviously fatter than him. I'm obviously not as jacked. But I am 220, and I do think I hold weight on my frame pretty well. So that's why I said, like, really pushing the training, I could probably get to 240 and be relatively lean. I'm thinking I could get to 240 and be about 20-25% body fat tops, which I know that sounds excessive, but it's really not that bad. Like, if you actually know what 20% body fat looks like on somebody who's not me, yeah, I feel like I could definitely put on more muscle. I don't even think the weight gain would be a good deal of fat. Like, I really think that my body can hold a lot more muscle. But I'm not intentionally bulking though. I don't want a big fat gut like I had before 3 years ago when I was doing the bulking and really pushing it. I don't want that. So I'm just kind of eating normal. In fact, I'm about to cook rice and have lentils with it. I really like lentils. But yeah, that's the Jeff Newport inspired clean and press session. I just watched a clip of him talking about doing 10 rounds of 10 with a double, starting with 16s and then going all the way up to 24s and blah blah 32s. I'm not doing that. I just wanted to try that. I didn't do all 10 sets, but this was my 8th training session of the week, and all of them have been fucking brutal. So I'm gonna take that one. Nice little, a nice recovery session. I'll call that a recovery workout, because it took, I don't know, 30 minutes or so of me yakking mainly and just kind of chilling, but getting some work. And look at my lats, by the way. I'm not even flexing. I just have my elbows rested on my knees, and you can see the fucking lats poking out the back end there. That's why I said, like, my back is jacked as fuck. Like, if I have one good feature, it's the back. My back is quite wide. Like, you see, I got that V shape. Actually, it's more like an X because my legs are big. But my waist is thick, right? Like, I got a thick waist now. Not just because I'm kind of fat, but also just because of all of this shit. Every movement I do is beating the shit out of your core. If you train kettlebells like I do, and you train barbells like I'm doing now, almost no matter what you do, you're gonna have a thick waist. So you could be lean as fuck and you're still gonna have a thick waist. It's not gonna change anything. You just won't have the fat covering it up. It's still gonna be thick compared to a bodybuilder who have really tiny waist. But that's because most of the shit they do is isolation work. They're not really training the whole body, unless you got like your Sam Sulik. But even he does a lot of isolation work. Still got a relatively thick waist. Anyway, yeah, a lot of overhead work, a lot of snatches, deadlifts. You're gonna have a thick waist. That's okay for me because that's the look I like. I don't want to look like a fucking twink. I want to be solid and thick. I want to look like a tank. Like a moving, walking tank. Not a Twinkie bodybuilder. I don't want to look like an Alex Eubanks. I don't have the hair for that. No, I don't want that. I want to look like a tank. Like a big, fucking, thick, muscular walking tank. That's the goal. Tank mode, not twink mode. No offense to the twink people. It's just not for me. I've never liked that look. All right, peace out.